Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Today we're going to be talking about 7 secular advocacy organizations for skeptics to support. Now, philosophers spend a lot of time arguing about what is true, what to believe, or what to do, but little time actually doing the work to advocate for those principles in reality. While many philosophical positions don't have or need advocacy organizations to promote them, one can only imagine things like the Society for the Advancement of Modal Realism. Ideas like skepticism, secularism, humanism, free thought, and atheism are hotly debated in the public square, and those that believe in these positions are persecuted in many countries. This video will look at 7 secular advocacy organizations you might want to support. The organizations highlighted here are going to primarily be American, but they have many chapters or companion organizations that are international organizations or exist in other countries. Please let us know in the comments what similar organizations you have found in your own country or that you actively support. Then the following videos in this mini-series will highlight the philosophical positions that underpin each of these organizations, and we'll preview those videos here. Throughout the series, we are going to be running a fundraiser for one of these organizations, the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Please do consider donating. You should see somewhere around this video a link to donate. With that, let's get started. So the first organization is exactly the organization I just spoke about, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, or FFRF. Their 2 main goals are to promote the separation of church and state and to educate the public about non-theists. The first of these, they largely accomplish through lawsuits and legal actions. If you ever see something that you think violates the separation of church and state, reach out to them. They'll go to bat in court for you. The second of which they often accomplish through prominent advertisements in the forms of newspaper ads, bulletin or big billboards, as well as TV ads, including a somewhat famous ad by Ron Reagan, the son of the former president, declaring himself an unabashed atheist who is, quote, not afraid of burning in hell. The second organization is the Center for Inquiry. This organization focuses on advocating for using science and reason to determine public policy instead of religion, pseudoscience, or superstition. CFI has a range of programs reflecting various organizations that have melded together over time. These include programs that promote the teaching of evolution in schools, that help non-religious journalists and bloggers that face repression around the world, that expose health fraud and fake medicine, as well as those that disprove claims of paranormal activity, psychic abilities, and much more. Number 3, we have the Secular Coalition for America. Next, we move on to some organizations that are more focused on lobbying in Congress for legislative change. One such group is the Secular Coalition for America. This is a lobbying organization that pushes for new laws on the behalf of the non-religious Americans, as well as groups that support secular government, including many of those listed here and more. The mission of the Secular Coalition for America is to advocate for equal rights for non-religious Americans in the halls of Congress. They work with the Congressional Free Thought Caucus, a group of representatives in Congress dedicated to advocating for secular government and the rights of the non-religious. The next organization is also a lobbying organization, but this is the Center for Free Thought Equality. They are the lobbying branch of the American Humanist Association. Don't worry, we'll get to them soon. The Center for Free Thought Equality funds and supports humanists and atheist candidates that run for office and creates scorecards for members of Congress based on how they vote on issues that are important to non-religious Americans. So if you ever wanted a lobbyist in Congress to advocate for your issues as someone that's a skeptic or someone that doesn't believe in God, these are great organizations for you to consider supporting. Now, as previewed, the American Humanist Association. The American Humanist Association advocates for principles of humanism in society. For more specifics on what humanism is, check out our videos on modern humanism. Note that they are advocating for what I described as modern humanism, not Renaissance humanism or civic humanism. We have videos on all of those positions. Check them out on the channel if you're curious. But simply, this modern humanism is the claim that a religious framework is not required for an ethical life, and that we can and we should be good without God. They engage in many projects, such as legal advocacy promoting the separation of church and state, educating people on humanism, and creating humanist communities with hundreds of local chapters, programs teaching about humanism in prisons, giving to the poor, and much more. More than any of the other organizations in this list, the AHA does not just advocate for secular issues, but shows that and tries to show that non-religious organizations can do just as much, if not more, good in the world than traditional religions do. Well, many of these organizations focus on a broad non-religious community. There are also organizations that focus specifically on people that identify as atheists. One such organization is American Atheists. Similar to the American Humanist Association, it has local chapters around the country, it does legal advocacy work, as well as charity work. You can see a lot of these have similar themes. A lot of these organizations are organizations that are putting forward lawsuits or that are putting up big billboards. The American Atheists are often famous for putting up big billboards encouraging people to skip church this week. These organizations are coming at the same problem from a lot of different directions. American Atheists particularly tries to promote the visibility and acceptance of atheists in society. Last but not least, we have a controversial one, the Satanic Temple. So the last organization we will be highlighting is controversial. It's the Satanic Temple. It's important to note there's a lot of things that are called Satanism. We're going to have a video in this mini-series that talks about all the different things called Satanism. The Satanic Temple is not a group of people that believe in Satan or worship Satan. This is a non-theistic religion that fights for a secular government by ensuring that the government treats all religions equally. They don't actually believe in Satan or any other deity. For example, when a local government proposes including a religious display on government property, the Satanic Temple will often propose erecting a comparable display for Satan. In order to show that the government isn't prioritizing one religion over the other, they either have to get rid of all the displays or put up the Satanic display as well. This frequently leads to governments simply taking down their religious displays and in many ways protecting that separation of church and state. The Satanic Temple claims that abortions are a protected religious practice for members, and reproductive rights are a really important key part of their platform. They have an online abortion clinic that ships abortion medication, aptly named the Samuel Alito's Mom's Satanic Abortion Clinic. So, there are many other organizations that do this work both in the US and abroad. This is just a small snapshot to get your feet wet. Consider checking out the member organizations of the Secular Coalition for America for even more organizations in the US with similar missions. We tried to, with this video, give you a bit of the full spectrum of organizations with the hope that you might find one that fits your interests, either that's focused on kind of building community, focused on trolling religious organizations, or just focused on kind of straight down the line legal advocacy. There should be something for you in this list. If you don't know who to donate to, consider donating here on YouTube to the Freedom from Religion Foundation as part of our fundraiser. We're setting the modest goal of trying to raise $500 to support their important work advocating for skeptics and free thinkers in America. In the rest of this series, we're going to dig deeper into some of the philosophies underpinning these different organizations. Let's take a look. So, first, we're going to be looking at what is free thought. Then we'll take a look at what is secularism. Then we'll look at humanism versus atheism. And finally, we will look at what is Satanism. Leave a comment below with your favorite organization that supports secular advocacy. Maybe it's one of the ones we listed here. Maybe it's one of the ones we missed. Let us know. And particularly if it's one from another country outside of the US. This was a very US-focused list. Let us know on what you're finding around the world, organizations that are doing this kind of work. There are many that we couldn't include here, and there are many more around the world. Thanks for watching. Please do consider donating to the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.